All right. So, watching sales recordings may be a brand new thing for you, right? So I want to go over what you should be looking for when you're watching a sales recording. All right. And I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things that you should be looking for. So make sure that you write these 6 down and make sure that you understand what each of these 6 mean. Okay. So let's get into it. The first one is framework. Okay. You want to make sure that your closer is following the framework of your script. Okay. You want to make sure that they're not going off script. And if they do go off script, they're not going very, very off script. They may go off for a little bit, but then they might come back on. That's totally fine. Okay. But overall, you want to make sure that they're following the framework. They're going section by section. They're not skipping sections. They're not adding sections. They're not, veering off and then never coming back to a section. You really want to make sure that they're following the framework. Pretty simple. It's a really easy one to catch. Okay. My best recommendation is as you're watching these sales recordings, you have the script right next to you so that you can match and you can say, okay, cool. Right now they're on this section. Okay, cool. Now they're going to this section and now they're going to this section. And then you could check the boxes off as you go. Okay. Next thing you want to look for is their tonality. You want to make sure that their tonality is appropriate for whatever they're talking about, right? They're raising their voice when they're trying to get people excited. They're lowering their voice when they're trying to calm people down, and their inflection and their tonality is appropriate for the goal of what they're trying to convey. Right? If somebody is, they're really nervous, you shouldn't be raising your voice. You shouldn't be getting really nervous because then that's going to make the other person really nervous. They should be saying, hey, look, it's okay. Like, let's calm down. Right? And their tonality should match the situation. Okay. So it's an interesting one, but you have to make sure that the tonality is matching the situation and also making sure that they're leading them down the right path toward the goal of making the sale. Okay. So look for tonality. All right. Next one I got is rapport. How much connection is happening between the two people? Is there a lot of awkwardness, right? Is there an awesome connection? Is your closer getting them to laugh, getting them to smile, breaking down their barrier? You should be able pretty easily to know if there's good rapport and good connection. Usually the prospect will be laughing. They will be divulging information that maybe they usually don't divulge. And they'll just seem like they're having a good conversation. Quite honestly, it will look like a podcast more than a sales call. Good rapport is the third thing that you want to look for. Okay. And that's a really good measure. Is this more like a sales call or is this more like a podcast or a conversation? All right. Number 4 is objections. Okay. So we have our objection handling web, right? Which is a specific way to handle objections. If you have a specific way that you like to handle objections in your business, make sure that when the objection arises, they're handling it like you've coached them to handle it. Okay. So you want to make sure that they're handling objections the way that you've told them to handle objections. This one will probably take the longest to actually, make them really efficient at. Our favorite thing to do, and we'll talk about this more in the meeting section, is to write down all of the objections that we see on the recordings. And then once a week, we actually have an objection handling meeting where we handle the specific objections that we've seen on the call. Really important thing with that is you want to make sure that you're consistent in the teaching of handling a specific objection. If somebody says they have a money objection and then you've given them 5,000 different ways to handle it and you're not consistent at all, they're going to be really confused on the call. Okay. So objections, make sure they're handling them appropriately to the way that you want them to be handled. All right. That's number 4. Number 5, we have transitions. So transitions goes hand in hand with framework, right? Obviously, the sales call moves down different sections of the call, and the transitions are really, really important, right? So how do you transition from asking about their needs to now talking about the program? How do you transition out of talking about the program and into the price? Are the transitions smooth or are they choppy? One thing you really want to look for is if transitions are really long. And this is where a lot of bad closers, what they'll do is they'll create a conversation in between transitions to stall the actual transition. You don't want that. Okay. So make sure transitions are quick and smooth and effective. All right. And then the last thing is the pitch. How are they doing in the pitch? Do they sound nervous? Do they sound unconfident? Are they delivering it directly? Are they, not doing the way that you want them to do? Are they pitching 5,000 different things? Are they telling them all their payment plan options before even getting agreements if they want to do pay in full or payment plan, right? The pitch should be direct. It should say, awesome, over the course of the next 3 months, it's going to be this on the payment plan or this paid in full what's best for you, right? So make sure that they're following the pitch exactly how you want them to. All right. So those are the 5 things we look for. We look for framework, tonality, rapport, objections, transitions, and pitch. And that's what you should be looking for as well.